I mean, it makes a pretty horrific read. Thomas, tell us more about what you have found going on there.
Yes, horrific abuses committed by the rebel forces of Dutton, this brutal rebel leader who's still at large despite an arrest warrant that was issued last year in June by the Congolese authorities. And this is a leader that has been ruling over a territory in eastern Congo, roughly the size of Rwanda, so a big chunk of territory. No other armed groups has been controlling that much space in eastern Congo, preying on civilians, imposing illegal taxation, imposing forced labor, and raping, killing, arresting people, beating them up. If you're not paying taxes, you'll be severely punished, for example. So a lot of abuses that we've documented between 2016 and this year, and we've also documented the collaboration with some of the units of the Congolese military.
Yes, I mean, I gather Dutton has got quite an arsenal, quite a close relationship with some in the army. So tell us a little bit more about that and how it plays out, and also how he's using children as soldiers.
Yes, exactly. The recruitment of child soldiers has been another of the many abuses committed by Dutton and his troops. The fact that he's collaborated with the army has begun really early on when he created the group in 2014. It had already happened before when in 2007 he joined a former rebel group from which he split in 2014, creating his own one. But this collaboration has been going on for years, and the Congolese military basically supported the group with arms and ammunition and planned military operations against other militia groups in North Kivu, in eastern Congo, putting them on the front line and basically using the rebel group as a proxy force. And that is the core of the problem here, is that for many, many years, the Congolese army has used many armed groups as proxy forces in their struggle, in their military operations. And at the moment, we're getting information that there are military operations actually ongoing against Dutton at last, because there was a split between the rival factions within the group back in July this year. But now we're getting reports already that the Congolese army is backing the rival faction to Dutton. Those deputy commanders that have broken away from Dutton in July are now being backed, we are told. We have yet to confirm that, but we're getting preliminary reports of potential collaboration between that rival faction and the Congolese army now. So you see that these alliances are shifting, but the facts remain very similar.
I mean, so much activity underway. I mean, one of the straps while you're talking is about the escape from jail of the ADF. They were formed in Uganda. They now are in DRC. But, I mean, incredulously, I spoke to a Congolese traditional leader yesterday morning, King Zombu Kaba Bioku, and he denied that any of this was happening in the country, that there are no atrocities committed by the army. He didn't have anything to say about their relationship with Dutton and the sort of atrocities committed against people living in the country. The Congolese there, and he wanted South Africa to get involved to rather tell neighbouring states not to commit any crimes within the country. But I just want you to listen to what he had to say.
The person who is doing this Twitter, he don't know Congo. He never been in Congo, so they're just writing so many pictures we are seeing on that Twitter is so many liars. Because I can see some of the picture for 1996, from 2001, we see it on this Twitter. But let me say, I cannot saying, no, they're not killing, they're not having a problem. Yes, they're having a problem. Like 4 days ago, it was a family was attacked on those same group of Kadeko. but not saying all the province. It's just some villages who are very far from the army post, I can say that's how they're getting that problem. But very soon, we are going to put that down. We, as a king, we are going to put peace on that area.
That's a problem, isn't it, Thomas, when you've got the leadership, people who are seeking advice, who are advisors, denying that there's anything happening in the country, when people are saying that there is genocide?
Yes, well, I mean, genocide is a very particular word that we should be very careful of using in very particular contexts. But what is clear is that cycles of violence are not ending in Congo, in particular in eastern and northeastern Congo, and we're seeing a huge number of armed groups being able to roam in those areas. We're talking about over 100 armed groups currently operating in eastern and northeastern Congo, and you always have shifting alliances and some support to being provided to those militia either from the Congolese army or from neighboring countries indeed, and that is a big problem. Regional countries have a big role to play in a long-lasting peace in Eastern Congo, because for decades Eastern Congo has been sort of taken as a bloody chessboard, if you will, for regional interests, and that remains a big issue at the moment.
Thomas, very good to talk to you. Thomas Fessy from Human Rights Watch.